It is a lovely morning in the nation's capital, Abuja, and this is Daybreak Africa, reaching you from the live studio of Television Nigerian, broadcasting from our hilltop station in Gizape, Abuja. It's the first working day of March 2020, and it promises to be a wonderful experience as we have a lot lined up for your information, education, and entertainment. It's a breakfast show, and on the menu today, we will be serving you the regulars, bringing you up to speed with the latest happenings in the news, locally and across the continent Africa, bringing you tips on how to live healthy, and of course, serving you with the latest gist from the entertainment grapevines and human angle stories from communities in Nigeria and across Africa. It's a bumper package, and all you have to do is get in the mood, grab a cup of something, and get set to roll. I'm Aisha Saliu, and you'll meet the rest of the crew after the break. Stay tuned.
I am Priscilla Adeshola, and I'm wishing you a happy new month. It's the month of March, and you will certainly march into greater heights if you start your weekdays with a healthy dose of Daybreak Africa. Now today is Monday, the second day of March, and on this day it is significant for different reasons across the world. Now, in Eastern Orthodox churches, they begin their Lent today, also known as Green Monday or Clean Monday, because Christians should begin the holy season with clean hearts and good intentions. Now in Australia, it is Labour Day, a public holiday that was originally called 8 Hours Day and commemorates the achievements of organized labor to implement the 8-hour day in the middle of the 19th century, when previously workers were required to work 10 to 12 hours a day for 6 days a week. Now in Ethiopia, today is a national day in celebration of the victory of Adwa in commemoration of Ethiopia's victory over Italy in 1896, which secured Ethiopia's sovereignty. Now also in Myanmar, today is a public holiday also known as Peasants' Day or Farmers' Day, an annual public holiday to mark and honor the contribution of agriculture and farming to Myanmar. Still, while it is a state holiday in Texas, United States, to mark the adoption of the Texas Declaration of Independence from Mexico on March 2nd, 1836. Now, what are you celebrating today? Is it your birthday, your anniversary, or that special events that happened in your life today? Drop it in the comment section and we will definitely celebrate with you in the course of the program. Join us again.
Well, top in the news stories today, anxiety as Supreme Court reviews Imo and Zamfara election judgments. What is it going to be like? Please do stay tuned. Buhari advises Nigerians not to panic over coronavirus outbreak. Of course, there's fear. You don't have to panic, says the president. While a motorcycle bill returns for passage in the National Assembly on Wednesday. All right. Good news from Plateau State as all 43 suspects of coronavirus returned negative. That's something to cheer about. While probes begins into 35 billion defense contract, while we will also bring you top stories from across the African continent, all on Daybreak Africa. So do stay tuned, make yourself comfortable, and we will join us again. I am Charles Ibe. Many thanks for joining us again. Hi, Priscilla.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm blessed among ladies. So this is going to be a very wonderful match. All of us. Like you did say, was it you or you? You said we're going to march into greatness
Definitely.
this month of March.
We are marching into greatness.
Yeah, but I'm wondering with this heat.
Wow. The heat is crazy. Honestly, over the weekend, I think I bathed more than I ate. So
I think I drank a lot of water more than I ate.
And you guys are all lucky because you have water. You can bathe as long as you like, and you can drink as much because you have water supply in your area. So how is it in your area? How is it in your neighborhood? Do you have enough water? How are you dealing with this heat? It's unprecedented.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's expected though. It's that time of the season.
Yeah, but it came so swiftly. We just went right out of
And it's
Harmattan.
almost as if we're not even ready for it. We weren't prepared for it. Just right after Harmattan, the heat is here.
Yeah, but Africa, we've always been the hot continent. And then,
right.
So when we have a little bit of cold and then the hot coming back, it takes a little bit of time to adjust. But I know we can always adjust to everything.
We will, but the cold is always better than the heat as far as I'm concerned.
All right, we'll survive. Like in the headlines today, we all know what's going to happen today. So fingers crossed, prayers said, everything done.
Well, a lot of prayers have been said. I heard in both camps, both Ihedio's camp and his opponent, they were all having prayers, and I'm like, wow,
session.
we've come to that point. Okay.
We're going back to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and we have to connect to the supreme being.
Exactly.
Okay, well, God is for Ihedio, God is for Uzodimma, God for the Supreme Court. So, all right, let's give you the little gist. Palpable anxiety has gripped politicians and their allies at the Supreme Court today, resumes hearing in two separate applications, seeking to reverse its judgment in two governorship appeals in Zamfara and Imo State. Well, in the first application, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the former governor of Imo State, Honorable Emeka Ihedio, are asking the Apex Court to set aside its judgment, which removed Ihedio from office on the grounds that he did not win majority of lawful votes cast at the March 9th, 2019 governorship elections in Imo State. Now, the All Progressive Congress in Zamfara State filed the second suit, asking the Supreme Court to reverse its judgment, which voided the participation of APC in the 2019 general elections in Zamfara State on the grounds of invalid primary elections. Well, ahead of today's hearing of the Imo State review applications at the Supreme Court, the PDP on Sunday restated its expectations, saying that its suit affords the Apex Court an opportunity to correct the errors in its judgment, while the APC has remained silent. Okay. The main opposition party said, should the Supreme Court decide not to correct the mistakes, it will be leaving behind a dangerous precedent as number of voters allowed to the PDP governorship candidate, Senator Hope Uzodimma, is more than the voters registered by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Okay.
Wow.
Royal Rumble.
Okay. So we're still doing the APC-PDP tussle.
Yeah. So now the hammer on whoever. Where is it going to swing? I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I'm not actually envying the Supreme Court judges right now because
Exactly.
And the thing is, we can't even preempt the court right now.
No,
we just
not
have
at
to
all.
wait for the
And now there's
precedent.
accusations that the Apex Court did this, they didn't do
Did that.
this, you know. And honestly, I'm feeling like at this point, Hope Uzodimma, he's still going on with all of his governorship
Of
things.
course.
He's-
Right.
He still remains until
Yeah, exactly. So even though this is all going on, he has been, getting new
Appointed
Appointments.
special advisors.
Exactly, special
I mean, nothing
advisors
is
and all.
happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's hopeful that he's going to stay in.
I think he's indeed hopeful.
of course his name is
Is he
Hope.
hopeful? Is he hopeful, or he's just carefree? He's like, whatever, you guys.
No, I believe he's very, very much hopeful that, I mean, despite every other thing, that he's still going to retain his seats. Well, if you look at the whole thing moving ahead to the Supreme Court, they did give reasons why they nullified Ihedio in the first place. Aside from the 388 polling units that they really had to shoot up Uzodimma to wait. They did mention that the PDP and its lawyers, they didn't really do their homework, they didn't do their jobs well. You understand? Especially with regards to that 388 polling units. There were a whole lot they would have done. You understand? But then the PDP is relying on the number of votes cast, the number declared given to APC.
Right, because they keep saying Hope Uzodinma came in the fourth position. How come you're not saying he's first?
Yes.
I think that's the only thing they are
That they are
relying on
really, because
majorly.
and then the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, they said the Supreme Court is supreme unto itself. But then that doesn't mean that the judges are infallible. So what is it going to be today? Are they going to be like what has been happening in Imo State over time? Prayer protests, people praying furiously. It looks like the whole people wants the Emeka Hedioha returned.
But then again, immediately when Hope Uzodinma was pronounced the new governor, I think we did see in the news again that most of the people in Imo State were excited. So I don't understand.
When it comes to politics,
of course,
there's always that, some people are for these people, and then there are all the people. So
and don't forget the what played out immediately after Hope. They saw the defection in the states as everybody scrambling. I think it's all about wanting to be in the mix to cut the. If you ask me, politicians have not really done well in Nigeria, especially in Nigerian democracy.
I think it's more of common interest, not necessarily no permanent friends or enemies.
No.
It's just
personally, I just feel they all want to eat the national cake.
Yes,
so and I think all this is about. This
in Imo State is the state cake.
Exactly.
And then one key thing is what I really love what the Apex Court did in the case of Bayelsa. I mean, bringing down the heavy hammer of the lawyers are there to file what they call frivolous stuff. If this judiciary should be taking this hardliner stance against politicians, I think it will go a whole long way. For instance, the issue of defections. I mean, all of a sudden you just decide because another governor or somebody from another party, you just jump ship and you are in the other. And there are guidelines. Guiding how party politics plays out, how to move from one party to the other, but it's all disregarded. Now they are laying so much burden on the Supreme Court. Now it's the court that has to do virtually everything because almost every election in Nigeria ends up in court. That is the politicians themselves. They're not doing very well. They're not doing well.
Well, we can only look forward to what happens today at the Apex Court.
Yeah. Because I mean, the PDP, I think they quickly withdrew. They withdrew the charge. They were going to ask for review of President Muhammadu Buhari's election, and a whole lot of that. So when the hammer fell, on Bayelsa, they quickly beat a hasty retreat, started withdrawing stuff. So I believe that the Supreme Court will do well today. I mean, and also pass strong warnings, strong lessons to politicians. Please don't toy with the Nigerian electorate. Please help our nascent democracy. Let's even stop calling ourselves nascent democracy. I mean, 50-something years, almost 60-something years of existence, and we are still talking about all of this. Well, the best should emerge from the Supreme Court today. That's my prayer. So keep yourself posted. Always stick to the TVN because we are going to bring you up to speed from what is going to happen at the Supreme Court today, some couple of hours from now. All right, now, President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday night, he admonished Nigerians not to panic in the face of outbreak of coronavirus, codenamed COVID-19, while expressing his sadness over the spread of the virus to Nigeria. Now, according to the statement by his spokesperson, Garba Shehu, President Buhari encouraged Nigerians to, instead of giving in to fear, pay attention to all preventive advisories being offered by all relevant bodies, especially the Ministry of Health, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization, WHO. Now, fear is the most dangerous factor in every situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, fear kills before even the disease. Maybe if you just start coughing, normal cough, you are scared. Oh,
because
corona,
even over the weekend, we saw a lot of Nigerians. Some Nigerians, they were very apprehensive, or wondering, okay, coronavirus is in Nigeria now.
Yeah.
So what's the hope for us?
I like the fact that there's a lot of people are being sensitized right now, and a lot of people are going online to find measures to protect themselves. And there's a lot going even on WhatsApp, social media, everywhere. You keep seeing measures to protect.
But then some mischievous Nigerians, you'd permit me to say that, still go ahead and spread fake news on social media.
Well, you can't take it away from people. Once there's a situation, I mean, there are different angles that are always presented, but it's left for Nigerians to
especially a situation like this. I remember when Ebola and Lassa fever came, people were crazy. In fact, at some point they said bait with salt. And a lot of people
Right.
actually did
Did,
that.
yeah.
You know? So
And
that's
also,
it.
you know that there has been a lot of measures being put out by the World Health Organization, even the CDC in Nigeria, things to do, preventive measures, and of course, Trust Television Nigerian, the management, we did something over the weekend, distributing sanitizers and a whole lot of stuff. So that
But then again,
people-
I feel if we adhere strictly to all of these safety tips as are recommended by
Yes.
the Center for Disease Control and also Federal Ministry of Health, I think it would reduce all of this panic because
will.
it's
The
really
most
unnecessary.
important thing is consciousness and enlightenment. People
Yes.
should be conscious and they should also be enlightened because it's important for you to know what you're dealing with before
Exactly.
you deal with it.
Before it-
Exactly.
And it quickly brings back to memory the famous five. I used to call them the famous five. Do you remember the famous five?
Exactly.
Oh, and you were part of the famous five.
Oh my God!
So you forgot to so.
I quickly.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
just
it
being
needs,
modest.
it needs to be revisited, because it was like trying to sensitize people
Right.
way ahead of what is going to come.
We didn't
And
even know it was
it
going
was
to come.
going to
here
come. You
eventually.
understand? We are being proactive. You understand? And our famous five, I think Priscilla was one of those.
Priscilla would
famous.
understand better.
I'm still shaken by that. I'm not
Yeah.
yet comfortable to talk about it, but yes.
But would you say you are vindicated
Famous
right
we are.
now?
Yes.
Somehow. Okay.
Somehow.
So Nigerians, please do go ahead, take every preventive measures that are out there in the public domain. Wash your hands off, so use hand sanitizers. If you have cough, cover your nose, know how to sneeze. In fact, personal hygiene is really, really key. And of course, I'm very, very sure that Nigeria will defeat coronavirus. I mean, we are Africans. Woo. All right, let's move on. The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, appears to be in the eye of the storm ahead of the 2023 elections. His position is under threat, following agitations to replace him with a northerner, to pave the way for emergence of a southerner as the party's presidential flag bearer in the election that will come up in 2023. Now, Secondus was elected national chairman on December 10th, 2017, after a keenly contested elections at the Eagle Square in Abuja. Okay, Uncle Secondus on the hot seat. I mean, projections ahead of 2023, it's crazy. I mean,
I'm actually a little bit annoyed that
Okay.
it's not even close in 2023.
and we are...
No,
really-
it comes with politics. I think it's expected. It comes with elections.
Yeah, but I feel like this goes to show that this is not even about the people.
It's not. I was going to say that.
Completely not about the people.
I
Because
mean-
if it's about the people, why wouldn't we be, focusing on dealing with the problems we already have? now?
Having, exactly.
Or
Instead
I
of
mean-
looking ahead of 2023, we're already
Exactly.
projecting towards 2023,
Yes.
what's going to
Yes.
happen, and we're forgetting what's happening now.
Exactly, because now the opposition parties, they are, as many as they are key stakeholders in the Nigerian politics. They need to know about now. You understand? They need to join hands with the government of the day. They've accepted defeat, fine. So why don't you, okay, maybe like 2022 or thereabout, okay, start talking about what do we do next. But just, we have not even gone to a year after the elections and we are screaming 2023, position shaking and all of that. So how will that national chairman be focused enough to really steer the ship of the party,
Right.
providing a
To
credible...
brush up the party,
Yeah.
to provide a credible candidate come 2023.
And it's not just that, a credible opposition, because that's, I think, what we lack right now. The way they play opposition party politics in Nigeria, it's more about, I used to call it garage politics. That's my own, don't take it to the bank. The way they behave, it's all about everybody looking for grab opportunities, what do you take, and all of that. Forgetting that delivering dividends of democracy is the major thing, and who has to benefit from that if not the masses, if not the electorate that went to vote in these governments. So please, opposition party, TVN is telling you to hold it there. Let's build Nigeria before, because if there's no Nigeria in 2033, which government are you going to take over?
Exactly.
So let's join hands and fight corruption, fight Boko Haram, fight insurgency. Everybody, irrespective
And
of
then-
party politics,
Yeah.
should all, because Boko Haram, they don't know PDP, they don't know APC,
They
they,
do
don't know
not know.
APGA. All they know is kill and destroy.
And
So
then we should also be conscious about coronavirus.
yes,
Right.
so
And
exactly.
because
They've not even told us anything. The PDP have not told us anything about coronavirus, apart from blame games and all of that.
That's always what it
All
is.
this is.
Blame games.
So on Daybreak Africa, we're telling them, politicians, please cut us some slack. Let us survive till 23. Now the stage was set on Sunday night for the resumption of legislative works on the bill seeking to establish a Amotekun Corps in the 6 southwestern states. Lawmakers in Osun, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, and Ondo states will be finalizing the process beginning from today, that's Monday. And speakers and attorneys general of the states met in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, where they made observations, suggestions, and cleared conflicting areas identified during the public hearings conducted by the state last week, Monday. Amotekun again in the front burner. I mean, bringing Nigerians to know that, I mean, security. Mm-hmm. The first thing is security. Secure your environment, because if you are safe, that's when you can plan, that's when you can implement, that's when you can execute.
I particularly like the fact that they've gone back to the drawing board as the people sponsoring this whole Amotekun within the 6 southwest states. I like the fact that they've gone back to the drawing board and then they have dotted the I's and crossed the T's.
Exactly. My biggest concern about this whole Amotekun situation is how much work have they put into this, and how much are the people that are going to be, Amotekun,
exactly.
How much are they ready for this, and how much do they know? Are they going to be another body coming out, to inflict pain on the masses, to extort people? That was my biggest concern.
And then also another concern is what synergy with this Amotekun and the existing security apparatus.
Exactly.
We have the state, we have the civil defense, we have the military, we have everything.
Yeah, and the police in particular.
The police, I mean, how are they working hand in hand? And everybody, because
on a lighter note, my own concern is their uniform. I saw their uniform, it was so native and traditional, and then I was like, okay,
well, if the Amotekun is doing their thing, and if you are sure that they're going to do it right, then whatever uniform they come out with is fine. It's fine.
It's fine. All right. So now, and when it finally takes off, we had the Kafasa?
Yeah, Shege Kafasa, Operation Shege Kafasa.
in the north, and then Operation Ogunigwe in the south. All those ones are bubbling under.
And then later on, Mieti Alada didn't support the Amotekun and now saying they want to join Amotekun. So we do not understand what's happening.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I feel like everybody's conscious now about security.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait for somebody to kidnap your sister before you remember that. So it's actually, I actually like the fact that everybody is getting
Nigeria, largest oil producer in Africa and 6th largest in the world, is rich in natural resources like natural gas, tin, iron ore, coal, limestone, niobium, lead, zinc, and arable land. But despite this endowment, the country's growing population, while it's in poverty, while its misfortune is blamed on corruption. When President Muhammadu Buhari took over the mantle of leadership on May 29, 2015, he vowed to combat corruption in Nigeria, no matter whose org seeks gold.
Corruption is a hydra-headed monster and a cankerworm that undermines the fabric of all societies.
This was clearly indicated in the arrest of Colonel Dasuki, retired, the then National Security Advisor of President Jonathan, who was charged to court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over the massive scam in weapons and defense procurement that led to the misuse of 3 trillion naira defense budgets since 2011 under the guise of fighting the notorious Boko Haram menace. 5 years later, the president's anti-corruption drive is yielding laudable results, redeeming the country's dented image in the eyes of international communities. Corruption is the greatest obstacle preventing Nigeria from achieving its enormous potential. It drains billions of dollars each year from the country's economy, stifles development, and weakens the social contract between the government and its people.
President Muhammadu Buhari has begun a fight. At least if you are going to a journey, you need to start. At least the man has taken a giant step.
Muhammadu Buhari is trying his own best to redefine the system of the corruption. He tries his own best to make everything in order to wipe all the bad leaders that they already put Nigeria in today. system that is not in order.
The anti-corruption fight is a success. Nigeria is being launched from the era of corruption, when corruption was a political culture, to this era the president has made anti-corruption and evidence-based leadership.
We apologize for that break in transmission. It was for technical reasons. Now, moving on, a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Haruna Sanusi, has been invited for questioning over award of contracts worth 35 billion naira for equipping the Nigerian contingents on United Nations peacekeeping missions. Also under probe is Abba Yusuf, a former personal assistant to former Minister of Defense, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. Yusuf was alleged to have received 100 million naira in separate tranches of 30 million and 70 million as bribes. Okay. Anti-corruption in our face. Okay.
It's always so funny when I see all these proofs, because I'm like, why do we give a lot of people immunity only to wait for them to come out of office and then probe them?
But then again, I like the fact that EFCC and ICPC, they are fighting really hard, clamping down on corrupt officials.
Yeah, and
whether or not you're in office.
Yeah, and someone just whispered to me that the Yusuf was a governorship candidate of the PDP in 2019 general election, and was like, okay, opposition being hounded. I don't know. I didn't really buy that.
There's always that little.
Yeah, it's always.
But don't you think some people will come out and say this is a case of a witch hunt?
That was what it was trying to make me see. But I was like, okay, witch hunt or whatever hunt.
No witch hunt.
Corruption.
Were you involved in that particular?
Exactly.
Well, I'm still
100 million is a whole lot.
Because I'm still a little bit concerned at the fact that generally, okay, let's say we probe some people and eventually we judgment comes and all of that. But how about the people that got away with all the laundering and everything?
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more steps taken to make sure that people don't get the chance to steal.
It
should not always
preventive measures.
Exactly.
Not always
it should not always
measures.
be after. We should not always wait till after they've done all the people that suffer for these
Yes.
things.
Well, the president promised Nigerians that he's going to fight corruption to a standstill. He's done this first tenure. This is the second tenure. It's just the beginning. And then we're having all of this. Let's hope by the time he has gone halfway, I think everybody that was corrupt in the opposition party, let me just do that line. Everybody that was corrupt in the opposition will be purged and made clean so that they will come and join Nigeria. And then he will turn the satellite in-house and start rooting out every corrupt person in the ruling party, because, like I said, corruption is everywhere. Exactly. Someone said that the APC is just like old wine in new wine skin. You understand? It's just the same thing all over there. The same thing with PDP, same thing with AFGA. It's just the same, or just a change of nomenclature. So that means the president has a whole lot of work to do in the fight against corruption. But the work is cut out already for him, because corruption is everywhere.
Exactly.
It's everywhere. When they finish with institutional corruption, what about the behavioral corruption? What about the character corruption? What about corruption in the institutions? Corruption in the religious institutions.
Right. Yes,
corruption in the home front.
Corruption is everywhere. I feel like in some ways it's become a culture to be corrupt.
Yes.
In fact, to an extent, if you're not corrupt, people will feel like, this person is not normal.
And then even the youth that we have hope in, thinking when they get there, they'll do something, they'll change the narrative. Most of the youth these days, when you talk to them, they'll tell you, when I get there, I'm just going to take my own share of the national cake and that's all.
And generally, it's a mindset now.
It's more like a mindset.
It's a mindset, because, it's all about the ends,
Exactly.
Get corrupt and make it, and you are celebrated. You are in the front burner.
Even generally, if you notice over time, it's like people that are corrupt, or people that are don't have the best moral standing, are the most celebrated. Even in Nigeria, even in Nigerian entertainment. Remember, even in Big Brother Naija, there's always these people that we don't exactly accept the way they live, but they end up being the most celebrated, the most popular, the most wanted.
Well, we're hopeful that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari will do justice and do the needful with regards to the fight against corruption.
All right, we'll keep praying with you, and we'll pray for you, Buhari, and your government. EFCC, do the needful, please, but don't make it appear to be only one-sided. Go across everybody. corruption is a hydra-headed monster. So the EFCC should be a hydra-headed undertaker. All right, moving on. Good news from Plateau State, as the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Nimkong Landan, has said there is no confirmed case of coronavirus in the state. The commissioner, however, said there are 43 persons had to be isolated for 14 days so as not to take chances. Now, he gave the confirmation in a press conference held in his office to disabuse the minds of Nigerians and citizens of the state over allegations that the virus has been detected in Plateau State. Good news. All the people that were quarantined and tested returned negative, so no coronavirus. So just Plateau State citizens and Nigerians should.
But then the three Chinese that traveled there. So we need to know the update. What's happening with the three Chinese that?
Yeah, it's also very good to put this thing in perspective. Just like a Chinese walked past doesn't mean there's coronavirus everywhere.
I'm actually very, very sad at the stigma that Chinese have.
Just yesterday, I was at the mall.
Not every Chinese is Aisha looks Chinese. We are not saying she has coronavirus.
Okay, but just yesterday I was at the mall and then I came across a Chinese man. You need to see how Nigerians reacted to him. Although he was even complaining about that, he had a service complaint, and then he was shouting, raising the whole roof, and then people were like, "You that even brought coronavirus to Nigeria."
You have voice to talk.
You have voice to say something, and it was so hilarious. The stigma placed on them.
Honestly,
it's not fair.
Apart from the fact that China is like a world power, I can imagine what this would have done to their economy. Because
really.
AliExpress has been down for weeks. I personally have the craziest grievances because I ordered a lot of things during December and none of them have come.
And please, when they do come, if they come, please quarantine those. Make sure you quarantine those goods you ordered for, so that the news I got this morning was like about over 100 people came in contact with the Italian that allegedly brought coronavirus into Nigeria. And so there is fear. They said he was in Ogun State. He was in a lot of places.
I heard they've been quarantining in Ogun State.
Yeah. But I don't know. Help me. I don't know why I still strongly believe that coronavirus is anti-African. It's not going to affect no African. In all the deaths, I think it's about 3 Africans that have been recorded as really.
And then I saw a report this morning, and then they were like, they are actually surprised how so far the disease has spread across the world, but then we have just 3 major cases in Africa.
Yeah, I actually had a theory once that maybe us Africans are somewhat immune. Don't quote me anywhere.
Yeah,
I do hope we're immune.
God created Africans.
It's God, because the way we pray and
everything is power.
Apart from our prayers, have you seen our hard work and resilience?
Yes. Africans.
We ought to be immune to any virus whatsoever.
We are going to muzzle coronavirus out of Nigeria. The government is already doing well at sensitizing and putting a lot of things in place. So all we need to do is support government by going along with the measures that they've put in place to ensure that coronavirus doesn't come. Even if it's around, you just do waka pass and go on its own destination.
Okay.
All right, on that note, let's go over to the African frontiers for news across Africa. Join us again.
Hello, here are some news updates across Africa. I am Samuel Akpan. The army in the Democratic Republic of Congo is investigating the death of its head of intelligence. Delphine Kahimbi was found dead at his home in the capital, Kinshasa, on Friday, the day he was meant to appear before the country's Security Council. He was to answer charges that he was involved in a plot to destabilize President Felix Tshisekedi. Kahimbi was on an EU-sanctioned list for alleged human rights violations and hindering the democratic process. Guinea's president has delayed Sunday's controversial referendum on changing the constitution that, if passed, could allow him seek a 3rd term. Alpha Conde, who is 81 years, said the slight postponement was because the opposition say officials have tampered with the electoral register. The announcement comes amid mounting international concern about the fairness of the poll. There have been months of violent demonstrations against the vote. At least 30 people have been killed in the protests since last October. The African Union and the regional bloc ECOWAS said they were not sending election observers to the mineral-rich West African nation. 6 young Mozambican men have been shot dead this year in South Africa's Kruger National Park, an official in Mozambique has disclosed. The men, all from Mozambique's Messinga district, which borders the park, were suspected of being poachers. Last year, at least 9 suspected poachers from Messinga were killed in the park, one of the world's most famous game reserves. Hundreds of wild animals are poached there every year, especially rhinos, whose horns are highly valued in parts of Asia. Mozambique's authorities were working with the local community to try to dissuade young people from poaching. Messinga District Administrator Sergio Mayone said. The United States says Ethiopia must, in the shortest possible time, sign a deal with Egypt and Sudan about a giant dam it is building on the River Nile. Stephen Mnuchin, the United States Treasury Secretary, said the final testing and filling of the dam should not take place without an agreement. However, Ethiopians have reacted angrily on social media, calling on the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to resist the US pressure. Earlier last week, Ethiopia failed to attend what was meant to be the final signing of an accord. Egypt and Sudan fear that the $4 billion dam will deprive their populations of water. The Grand Renaissance Dam is at the heart of Ethiopia's manufacturing and industrial dreams. When completed, it is expected to be able to generate a massive 6,000 megawatts of electricity. South Africa will evacuate 151 citizens from the coronavirus-hit Chinese city of Wuhan within days, the health minister said on Sunday. The virus has spread to more than 60 countries around the globe, killing nearly 3,000 people and sickening 87,000, prompting the World Health Organization to raise its risk assessment to its highest level. The decision to relieve the trapped South Africans came after President Cyril Ramaphosa on Thursday directed the repatriation of those who have asked to return home. The minister told a news conference at the country's main international airport that there were 201 South Africans in Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus, and that 151 indicated they want to be repatriated. That's the much we have for you on news across Africa. Thanks for watching. Daybreak Africa continues in a moment. I am Samuel Akpan.
Well, so much happening on the African frontiers. I mean, the last news about the coronavirus, South Africa trying to repatriate
its citizens from China.
I think that's good news.
About 151 of them coming back to South Africa.
That's actually very nice. I'm wondering now,
should Nigeria do the same? Exactly. You know, you had this situation in the National Assembly at one point that they were saying, bring back Nigeria. It caused an uproar when we were saying they should stay there.
I actually saw a video of a Nigerian student.
Right, I saw that
was very, very sad and crying and saying they don't even have food because they're indoors trying to protect themselves from coronavirus. So they are also citizens of Nigeria. They only went there, to study, to come back so they can help.
But then again, I think Nigeria should emulate South Africa. Why don't we just go ahead and repatriate our citizens?
Because
in Wuhan, China.
The situation in China right now, I mean, there's a whole lockdown on everything, movements in public places. There's some restrictions and trying to contain that virus. It's the most difficult time being in China right now. So Nigerians that are trapped there, maybe the government should consider and take borrow a leaf from what South Africa is trying to do.
When you bring them in, they are, as like they've been doing a lot of quarantine.
Quarantine
them for, even if it's a whole month, at least they'll be home and they'll be getting food and other things.
So that's the key thing. If you are bringing them back, I don't know, South Africa have not told us the measures they are putting in place. Maybe they are going to take them to a center for a week or two, check them, all of that before releasing them to them, which is a nice move. But they need to be out of that Wuhan district.
Another story that calls for attention there is that of the Guinea's president Alpha Condé.
Right.
They are talking about postponing the polls because of one reason or another. And then some other African countries are saying they are not going to send observers into the country because they feel, because just last week we did hear some report that Alpha Condé has applied for a referendum. He wants to come back third time.
I mean, what is it about Africans wanting to perpetuate themselves in office?
I don't know, honestly. I feel like Africa...
And he's 83 years old.
Right, he's so old. I feel you should leave there. What are you still doing?
Alpha
Condé, what
are you
still doing?
They don't want to let it go. And it's just sad. It just shows how the black man is not. The black man.
The sit-tight syndrome.
Exactly.
But they should. I mean, that consciousness is fast eroding. I mean, people are getting all over it because people are becoming wiser right now. Africans they are reading books now. They are traveling. They have seen what is happening in other climes, and they want to bring it home. So the issue of one person or one family. I mean, we don't have monarchy here, so why should somebody stay for so long? And then you're trying to turn around the constitution to suit you. You want to go for a third term. And who said when he gets to that third time, he doesn't turn it to life presidency?
Exactly.
So I think they need to do the needful. And
we need to do better as Africans.
Yes.
And then another story that caught my attention there is the Mozambique poachers.
The Kruger National Park.
Yes, about 5 of them were shot dead. How do you go to a national park to poach animals? You don't do that.
Absurd.
Our national reserves.
And it's about these rhinos, their body parts, especially the horns and all of that. It's very, very, very. It's what is waiting good, especially in China and some of these Asian countries. What they do is for medicine, and then from all the ceramics they produce and all of that. So I think this is the temptation to make some fast bucks. That's just what pushed these people.
They lost their lives.
Yeah.
About 5 of them. I'm sure they had plans. They were promising young men, but
but I think, don't you think it's that's a very hard line.
Exactly. I feel like they probably should not have shot them dead. They could
they
have
would
been
have arrested, jailed.
Exactly.
But then again, they said they've had series of that particular occurrence. So
of course, there will always be poaching.
There has to be deterrence. I guess this is the measure to deter.
The law was made to be broken. I mean, so I don't know.
So that there can be punishments.
There should be punishment and all of that. So shooting someone dead and all of that. I think it's as.
I also don't think it's right. I feel like they should have been arrested. Maybe given some kind of jail term, or maybe even asked to pay some kind of money or something. But I feel like shooting them dead, that's just.
But on the other side, it's also it sounds a note of warning, caution to would-be poachers. I mean, if you are planning to go poach at the Kruger National Park, not just Kruger National Park, any park, even in Nigeria here, so please don't go poaching on our parks, because most of these animals are going extinct, and nature needs them to perpetuate themselves, or to maintain a stable ecosystem. All right, that's the much we have for the news segments on Daybreak Africa. I'll be doing this again tomorrow. You'll be seeing me again tomorrow.
Right.
I'll have to leave the ladies to do all the chatty. I think it's tea time. So we'll take a quick break now. Go for that cup of coffee, go for that cup of tea, lemonade. Make sure you drink a lot of fluid. Drink a lot of fluid, drink a lot of liquids this time, especially when we're trying to prevent coronavirus. We'll see you again.
Coronaviruses are a large group of viruses. They consist of a core of genetic material surrounded by an envelope with protein spikes. This gives it the appearance of a crown. Crown in Latin is called corona, and that's how these viruses get their name. There are different types of coronaviruses that cause respiratory and sometimes gastrointestinal symptoms. Respiratory disease can range from the common cold to pneumonia, and in most people, the symptoms tend to be mild. However, there are some types of coronaviruses that can cause severe disease. These include the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, first identified in China in 2003, and the Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus that was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012. The 2019 novel coronavirus was first identified in China. It initially occurred in a group of people with pneumonia who'd been associated with a seafood and live animal market in the city of Wuhan. The disease has since spread from those who were sick to others, including family members and healthcare staff. There are many cases at present, and the disease has spread within China and also to a number of other countries. So, where did the virus come from? It's known that coronaviruses circulate in a range of animals. Sometimes these viruses can make the jump from animals to humans. This is called a spillover and could be due to a range of factors such as mutations in the virus or increased contact between humans and animals. For example, MERS-CoV is known to be transmitted from camels and SARS-CoV from civet cats. The animal reservoir of the 2019 novel coronavirus is not known yet. How is it transmitted? The exact dynamics of how the virus is transmitted is yet to be determined. In general, respiratory viruses are usually transmitted through droplets created when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or through something that has been contaminated with the virus. People most at risk of infection from the novel coronavirus are those in close contact with animals, such as live animal market workers, and those who are caring for people infected with the virus, such as family members or healthcare workers. So, how does the disease present? Well, from what is known so far, there can be a number of symptoms ranging from mild to severe. There can be fever and respiratory symptoms such as cough and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, there's been pneumonia, kidney failure, and death. The mortality rate is not known yet. How can we tell whether someone is infected? The infection can be diagnosed by a test called PCR, or polymerase chain reaction. This test identifies the virus based on its genetic fingerprint. There's currently no specific medication for the virus, and treatment is supportive care. There's currently no vaccine to protect against the virus. Treatment and vaccines are in development. How do we prevent transmission of the virus? This new virus currently has a limited geographic spread. However, there are a number of standard hygiene practices that have been recommended to protect against infection and further spread. These include covering your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing with a medical mask, tissue, or flexed elbow, avoiding close contact with those who are unwell, the appropriate use of masks and personal protective equipment, especially in a healthcare setting, washing hands regularly with soap and water, or alcohol-based hand rub. Actions that can be taken to prevent infection from an animal source include avoiding unnecessary unprotected contact with animals, washing hands after contact with animals or animal products, and ensuring that animal products are cooked thoroughly before they're consumed. It's important to
Many thanks for staying tuned on the program. This is still Daybreak Africa. Water is connected to every forms of life on Earth. Drinking water benefits the body in a variety of ways. On this episode of Healthy Living, Chinwendu Osisiogo will be telling us those benefits we can gain from drinking more water. Let's find out more on the Healthy Living segment. Stay with us.
We tend to complicate things when it comes to taking care of our health. A few simple steps can go a long way in taking care of our health, and one easy way of ensuring it is by drinking sufficient water in empty stomach first thing in the morning. Welcome to another episode of Healthy Living on Daybreak Africa. I am Chiwendu Usisego. Today we shall be discussing on the benefits of drinking water in the morning. Water is essential to life and your body needs it to function properly. One training idea suggests that if you want to be healthier, you should drink water first thing in the morning. However, you may wonder whether the time of day really makes a difference when it comes to hydration. Some popular claims surrounding the idea of drinking water right after you wake up to determine whether the practice offers any health benefits. About 60% of your body is comprised of water. It's also considered an essential nutrient, meaning that your body cannot produce enough of it through metabolism to meet its daily needs. Therefore, you need to get it through foods and especially drinks to ensure proper bodily function. All organs and tissues depend on water, and it plays numerous roles in your body, including nutrient transportation. Water allows blood circulation, which transports nutrients to your cells and removes waste from them. Due to water's large heat capacity, it limits changes in body temperature in both warm and cold environments. Water helps lubricate joints and is an essential element of your body lubricating fluids, including saliva, gastric, intestinal, respiratory, and urinary mucus. Water acts as a shock absorber. Protecting your organs and tissues by helping maintain cellular shape. Your body loses water daily through sweat, breath, urine, and bowel movements. These are known as water outputs. If you don't take in enough water throughout the day to make up for these losses, it can lead to dehydration, which is associated with many detrimental health effects. This system is known as water balance and implies that water input must be equal to water output to avoid dehydration. In summary, water is an essential nutrient and all organs and tissues in your body depends on it to function. Since your body loses water regularly, you need to compensate for these losses to avoid dehydration. And that's the much we have for you on Healthy Living. I am Chiwendo Osisioko. Don't forget that you can still follow us on our social media platform on Facebook and on YouTube, and also on Twitter for many more healthy tips. Many thanks for watching. Daybreak Africa continues shortly.
That was Healthy Living on drinking water in the morning.
I mean, you can never overemphasize the need to drink water every time of the day, especially now that according to some health experts, they said that water is actually helpful in preventing coronavirus. Said as long as your throat does not get dry, stays wet, then and you keep drinking water, even if you get coronavirus into your system, the water
Flushes it down,
and your stomach acids can actually
And apart from
destroy
coronavirus, we're still talking about the heat waves in Nigeria. So I think water is also very much necessary right now for us to drink a lot of water, especially in the morning. We lose a lot of fluid in our body day in, day out. So it's pertinent to drink water.
Yeah, especially for general health, from skin, everything. Everything depends on water. Water is very, very important. Now, so Nigeria's varied conflicts weaken internal security and affect stability in the country, and the continued displacement of people due to the ongoing Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, a surge in deadly farmer conflicts across central Nigeria, long-running militancy in Niger Delta, and the re-emergence of separatist agitation in the southeast are all at a backdrop for national unity. Now, building peace is a challenge we should all accept. How do you think we can achieve peace in your community and in Nigeria? Let's find out in this commentary on Nigeria's peace and unity.
say that Nigeria has always been in perpetual search for unity and peace is almost an understatement. Less than 6 years into self-rule, having gained political independence from her colonial masters in 1960, the nation was plunged into an unavoidable civil war in which more than 2 million people were killed. While it is still a lot difficult to cut through the fog of myth and propaganda that obscured the conflict to explain the cause of the war, more than 50 years after, those things that tend to divide us are reappearing with frightening possibilities. There is therefore no other period in the history of our great country that Nigerians need peace and unity more desperately than now. The phenomenon of unity and peace has been rediscovered the world over as a subject of public debate and of deep philosophical inquiry. Even though peace is generally a relative term anywhere in the world, the imperative for an all-encompassing peace and unity in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. A nation that has been so bruised and violated like Nigeria, where injustice and impunity of all kinds have free reins, dialogue, peace and unity should be the watchwords. In fact, at the end of the Civil War in 1970, what our leaders ought to have done was to call for and host a national dialogue to cut a new deal that would move the nation forward. They didn't do this. Rather, they were smug in their self-assurance. Unfortunately, they saw the entire polity as their war booty and were blissfully unaware of its consequences. The outcome was that desperation among Nigerians became infectious. Even when the military were pressured to hand over political power to their civilian counterparts in 1979, they hurriedly put together a phony constituent assembly and drew up a constitution without the input of the authentic representatives of the Nigerian people, rather than opening up a forum for Nigerian dialogue as a forerunner to peace and unity. The upshot was that the Second Republic was soon to collapse like a pack of cards. In 1993, after the annulment of one of the most placid presidential elections ever conducted in Nigeria by the military under General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the fragile peace and unity of the country became atrophied and the people openly canvassed for a sovereign national conference in which they would openly discuss the basis for the corporate existence of the country. But the military, in their wisdom, repudiated the idea. General Sani Abacha, who took over power from the head of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekan, succeeded in husbanding a national conference in 1994, just as a ploy to buy acceptability from the people to gain legitimacy for his new regime. But despite the stark illogicality of the military praxis, a few courageous politicians led by the late iconoclastic Yoruba leader, Chief Abraham Adesanya, called for and hosted a well-attended and all-politicians dialogue in Lagos in 1997. This helped in galvanizing support for the massive agitation for a return to civil democratic governance, which became a reality on May 29, 1999, when an elected civil administration was inaugurated. Again, the administration of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo from 1999 to 2007, the first civilian government after a protracted period of military dictatorship plagued by rapacity and greed, bungled a great opportunity to host a formidable national political conference in 2005, due largely to the alleged plot for tenure elongation of President Olusegun Obasanjo. The Goodluck Jonathan administration, by successfully husbanding the last national conference in 2014, in which Nigerians of all faculties were adequately represented, succeeded in providing a platform on which the nation would be reinvented. Unfortunately, the then opposition politicians were currently calling the shots, boycotted and repudiated the confab. Indeed, many still continue to associate dialogue with a prudish Victorian morality or with crude attempts by government to legislate peace and unity. Yet, unity and peace remain elusive items on our national agenda. It is against this backdrop that we must think it's imperative to, among other things, create a robust intellectual and integrative interaction to kindle the patriotic spirit of Nigerians towards building a bridge of unity across various divides in the country. identify and celebrate icons of peace and unity, and advance progressive currents on the front burner of our national discourse. There should exist a body of educated and experienced professionals established to facilitate partnership and interaction between the state and non-state actors, which must embark on active peace and unity initiative in our beloved country, Nigeria. For those Nigerians who think that it is still business as usual, that the country would ordinarily come out of the mess and self-inflicted injuries we have brought round about us, there is every reason for us to pause and look backwards. The ongoing pockets of crisis and militancy in some parts of the country and agitations for self-determination by certain ethnic nationalities appear to be succinct replay of the 1964 Western Nigeria regional crisis that culminated in the January 1966 unfortunate development and the concomitant civil war. We are all witnesses to how the well-thought-out idea of the national confab, which started showing a silver lining in the horizon, was ambushed at the tail end by apostles of religious and ethnic divisions from within the attendees, who invented ethnic and tribal skirmishes to thwart the awe-inspiring outcome of the confab. Unfortunately, the already mitigated and transformed diversity has turned into a jigsaw laden with negative perceptions and manifestations, accentuating the inherent cleavages of the Nigerian state. The national conference, which was about to whistle a happy tune, ironically ended in a fiasco. Old wounds were opened, causing new cleavages to widen existing fault lines, while partisan political actors continue to fuel the challenges. Some of the apparent fault lines include religion, ethno-cultural and geopolitical configurations, party affiliations, and well-off attrition. These have further blunted all efforts geared, as it were, towards combating terrorism and crime in the country. The resumption of senseless killings in the Middle Belt and across the country, with the seeming vulnerability of the security agents to terrorists and bandits or kidnappers, is unacceptable. The bandits and kidnappers are progressively closing in on the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It is therefore imperative that we redirect the swing of public opinion, discourses and perceptions by highlighting, promoting, consolidating and celebrating our positive narratives for the sustenance of unity and a peaceful coexistence. While the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has done so well in the effort to combat the Boko Haram sect, the people of this country should support the government through active participation in positive dialogue intervention. The media should embark on deliberate efforts at dousing tension in the country. Newspaper intellectuals and columnists should promote dialogue, peace and unity to the front burner of our national discourse instead of provocative smear-mongering as critical enterprise. In the absence of unity and peace, development is often seen in the dividing line between savagery and barbarism. Hence, the imperative for Nigerians to preach peace, unity, love, forgiveness and mutual understanding to change our narrative. Yes, we can overcome belligerence, embrace love, and prove our nationhood.
Well, peace and unity is indeed important, and in Nigeria there's so much going on. We should always remember to make sure that we're doing the right thing and to always respect each other and to do right by ourselves.
Definitely.
Well, meanwhile, on a lighter note, it's time for entertainment.
Yay!
Alright, so first off, so it's all things Davido. Now, OBO, aka Omo Baba Olowo, recently went on Twitter and posted a picture of his dad in a private jet, and he's congratulating his dad for getting a new private jet, and he called it their baby. Now, a lot of people on social media have been speculating that Davido bought the jet for his father. We don't really know, but the jet is worth millions and millions of naira. So particularly, this is not the first jet they have. What do they actually need two private jets for?
No, the thing is, it comes with affluence, and when you're wealthy, you just buy these things. They're like toys to you.
Aisha, why are you saying it like it's something that you have experienced?
I'm
gearing up.
I'm gearing up
for
it.
it.
Trying to be there.
Okay. Okay, so you just feel like because you are affluent, but I feel like it's unnecessary for you to have two of something that you know.
Don't allow the poor man mentality hits you.
It's not it. It's just that. It's just that. Think about it now, Aisha. Okay. Well, people have 2 cars, 3 cars. 4 cars.
It's just like cars too. This is a private jet. Yes, let's just deal with it.
There's going to be more drama from this whole private jet thing. Remember that time Davido flew a private jet and it sparked all this drama. People saying it's not his, it's his dad's, and he's like, "Yo, it's my dad's, it's mine." Why do people always hate on rich kids? You know.
That's what I was going to tell you. It almost seemed as if you were hating on Davido.
I wasn't hating. I mean, I love Davido. I think he's amazing. You know, it's just that I'm not really used to buying private jets where I come from. Meanwhile, so moving on. Okay, so Toke Makinwa recently just shaded single ladies, including herself. According to her, she was like, okay, yes, you guys are single and you always stay indoors. How do you expect to get a husband? Do you want him to fly in through the roof? And I totally agree with her. Like, Aisha, for the longest time I've been saying that you're single. Are you mingling? If you mingle, you will find the one.
No, I think I'm going to take Toke's advice. We have to start going out more so we can mingle with people, and then maybe eventually that husband.
I have kind of a party over the weekend. Are you down?
I'm down for whatever.
I like the spirit.
But then again, I think Toke should also use the same advice.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, she's shading all single ladies, including herself, that they like staying inside the house when they should be going out, you know, and getting, all these nice times and meeting amazing people. It's when you meet people that you can eventually say, okay, I'm choosing who I want to be with.
Yeah, right.
Now moving on. So yes, speaking of down. So Yuda Doche recently shaded his dad on social media. I would not particularly call it shading, but he posted a meme of somebody looking at Peter Doche and like, when you want to kneel down to, propose to your wife and say Yule Doche. But recently he was in an interview with Pulse Nigeria and he said that he did not exactly kneel down to propose to his wife, saying he does not actually think there's anything wrong with laying down because there was no need for him to kneel down because the situation did not warrant that. He also said that he, feels like Peter Doche, in his own part, actually made sense because the time that he came from, things were done a certain way. He said now there's, we're switching things up, we're doing things better, we're changing things up, but that doesn't mean that in their time they did not do their things that way and it was not right. And I totally agree with him. I feel like as much as we want to say, okay, Peter Doche, why would you say that and all of that, I'm sure a lot of feminists would completely disagree with him. I still think that it doesn't matter whether you kneel down to propose to somebody, if the person is going to respect or disrespect you. It's not going to change anything. If you're going to have a happy married life, if you're going to be married forever,
right.
But then
I think from the angle Peter Doche was coming from, during their own era, right, there was no need. And then the tradition of the African tradition and culture, you don't see a man kneeling to propose to a lady. Like, it's totally uncalled for. That was in their own era, and now things have changed, right?
We're changing things up. Most of the clothing we wear now are not from our time, are not from our African culture. Most of the even means of transport we have now. So we should be open to change. And then right now, what is the deal is equality among sexes. There was a time when men were, the head of the family, and in fact, women would kneel down to even serve food, but that has changed. Okay, so yes, and I feel like from that time till now, there's been so much change, and a lot of people have accepted the change. So let's not make it difficult or complicated by saying, things like this. And feminists actually came, they are really, really coming at Peter Doche for this one. But meanwhile, I like what Yule Doche said. I feel like as much as possible, he was, in the middle.
Yeah, he was hanging in the middle.
Exactly. And
I don't want to support my dad completely, and I have my own opinion.
Exactly. And I actually respect that. I do.
Okay.
Well, that's about it for the entertainment segment. Hope you had, hope you are now abreast of everything happening in the entertainment industry. So do stay tuned. We have more coming up.
So in the 1960s, the agricultural sector. In the 1960s, the agricultural sector was the most important in terms of contributions to domestic production, employment, and foreign exchange earnings. The situation remained almost the same 3 decades later, with the exception that it is no longer the principal foreign exchange earner, a role now being played by oil. Maize is among the major staple Food crops in most sub-Saharan African countries in Malawi and Mozambique. The major food staples are maize, rice, and cassava. And maize is also the most informally traded staple commodity in Africa. Let's take a look at this special feature on the Gate Farm and its impact in the maize supply chain. Stay with us.
Maize is a staple crop of economic importance in the tropics. In terms of volumes produced, it is the third most important cereal grown in Nigeria, covering about 2.5 million hectares of cultivated area with an estimated yield of about 1.4 metric tons per hectare. With the most range of uses than any other cereal, maize is used as a staple food for human consumption, animal feed formulation, and for industrial purposes. Usually, Nigeria has an annual maize production in excess of 7 million metric tons, but has progressively witnessed low productivity with a deficit in supply, which currently stands at about 5.5 million tons per annum. The decline in production of maize can be attributed to the fact that of the bulk of the country's farms, over 90% is dependent on subsistent smallholder farmers with rudimentary farm practices, small capital base, and low yield per hectare.
We don't have a fertilizer to farm. Even now, my farm, maybe I'll see just, let's say, 200 bags of corn now. I don't have fertilizer. Even the 2 bags, I don't want to lie, don't tire. My message is here. Not too much.
It's due to the way of producing. If the goods is too much in the market, you get a less price. But if there is no much goods in the market, you want high price.
In the maize supply chain, the gate market is of significance in agribusiness. This is a small market where the harvested maize is brought fresh from the fields, sold to the middlemen, transported down to the retailers for onward sales to the consumers and end users. Transported through miles of often rough terrains, the harvested maize is brought in by farmers and small-time outgrowers to the gate market, where bulk buyers and some retailers are on hand to purchase the goods.
I came from Wagwalada together to buy maize, 1 bag of corn. Like today, they are selling it 2,000 naira. So with the transport, chapo, all the expenses, everything will be 3,000 naira. So maybe by the time you finish selling it, maybe you sell it 5,000 or 5,000 plus. It depends the way you sell it. It depends because you don't have a specific amount of selling it, so it's the way that you sell it, it's the way you gain it.
I come from Uje and I used to buy 2 bags and go to Uje and roast it. So if I buy like 2,000, sometimes you buy 2. For the end of the day, we can see like 2,000 naira or 2,500 inside the 2 bags. We are managing it. 2,000 or 2,500 instead to sit down and pay it. It's a very good business for me because I don't have anything to do for the children. Hence, I can cover my security for now. It's a good business for me.
Transporting the purchased products provides another window of business opportunity for the maize supply chain.
The charging of the loads depends. Each bag gets its own price. Like one bag here inside the bag, some carry 350. Then like 7. Then if depending situation your car is, if your car is okay, you can drop it down, you cannot feel anything. But if your car is beyond repair, I think it's you must have it.
The main problem itself, when all these people used to come and buy the loot, when they buy the loot, police, this something, what is pack. It's all our drivers.
This, in addition to the small farms at your backyards, is how your beloved delicacies come within your reach.
Okay, and so that was maize. Priscilla, let me ask you particularly, do you actually eat maize?
A lot. I love it. Roasted, boiled, anything. Even canned. You know,
I love the processed one. You know, we get it in our cornflakes and it's nice.
Yes, it's really nice. And apart from that, I heard you can even use it to make some flour and all of that. So yeah, it's actually very, very good. You know, it's nice and it's very delicious and it's fun to eat because you can even eat it, you know, with your friends and family. Especially the fact that we have a lot of roasted corn on the road.
You can take it as a snack.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Yeah. Cool, it's very cool. And meanwhile, so we have had lots of broken homes and relationships, and today every relationship experiences issues and pressures at one point or another, from cheating, arguments, to problems with sex or worries over money. Now, cheating has always been a big subject when it comes to relationships, but the big question is, who cheats more in a relationship, the man or the woman? Now, TVN Street Cred was, you know, on the streets of Abuja to find out between guys and ladies who cheats more. Please watch and add your opinion in the comment section. Do stay tuned.
In a relationship, who cheats more?
Well, I really don't have a statistic to prove to you who cheats more.
The guys or the lady?
Guys cheat more.
Ha! Do you need an angel to tell you that?
The ladies do more of the cheating.
The guys cheat more.
I can just say it's the guys.
Guys are naturally polygamous.
I beg.
Of course, ladies, of course.
Men cheat.
Of course, I've cheated before, but... in a relationship, who do you think that cheat more, the guys or the ladies?
Well, I really don't have a statistics to prove to you who cheats more, but in my own opinion, I can just say it's the guys, because we live in a patriarchal society where men are actually more allowed to do their own free will, you know, in terms of sexual right. They have more sexual rights than women, and because of this patriarchal society that we live in, men feel like they can dominate women in terms of owning them. They believe women are property, and so they do more to acquire women. So in that, if you look at it, looking at polygamy, and they have more tendency of having a polygamous family, so men go for polygamy more. So
okay, what can you classify as cheating?
Well, you know, this society, modern society that we live in, where you say the one man, one wife. If that's the agreement, it's not a polygamous family. You believe that it's going to be a one man, one wife family. And if that vow is broken, no, another woman comes in. It's no longer one man, one woman. Then it could be cheating. But cheating cuts across. It could also be emotional. It could be financial cheating. So it's diverse. But of course, when we look at having a polygamous home, the first wife could be like you cheated on her to have another wife. So it could be that.
Okay, can you accept a guy or a man after cheating?
It's deep, depending on the circumstance. But for now, I don't think so.
Okay, now what advice do you have for people that cheat?
You've broken the vow, so first of all you should understand that, and if you're someone that respects your own opinion, your decision, you don't have to be a leader before you make decisions and you respect those decisions and you keep to those promises. So if you are someone that keeps to promise, you don't need to cheat. Cheating, it means that you've broken your promise. So that's just it.
Azan Kazim. In my own opinion, I think guys cheat more.
Why do you think is guys cheat more?
Because most of my friends are always saying about cheating their lady and all of those stuff. It will be very hard for a female to cheat. Only if a guy has broken her heart before.
Have you cheated before?
Of course, I've cheated before, but even if you cheat, there's always one lady you eventually really care for. You understand? In my own opinion, I think guys.
Now, what can you classify as cheating?
Cheating is referred to as having multiple girlfriends without being loving them equally. Probably loving one more than the other, and you have nothing to do with the other ones in terms of marriage. You understand? That's what I understand by cheating.
Can you accept your woman after cheating?
It depends. It depends. Cheating. If I must say, when you say women, as far you asked me earlier if I cheat, even while cheating, you eventually like one more than the other. If the one you like most now cheats on you, no. When you say cheating can be on bed. You understand? So imagine me meeting my woman with another guy on bed. You expect me to it doesn't make sense.
Richard Amos. To me, to be precise, I think the ladies do more of the cheating, in the sense that they are being tossed by a lot of guys at a time, and then most of them, if you ask them, they will say they are there just to make the money out of it. So it's cheating. You're not being faithful because you have a specific task that you want to achieve. Going after a guy because of his money or so. But guys are kind of people that when they discover that you are a flirt or you cheat around, that is how they will treat you. So to me, girls or ladies cheat more than the guys.
Okay. Now, what can you classify as cheating?
Cheating is being unfair. Like, we have an agreement, but you boycott me, like taking it not for serious. Like, this is me, I tell you this, and then you went behind me and do the contrary after agreeing that we're going to work together. Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you accept a woman after cheating?
After cheating, she cheat on me, and then I'll accept her. It depends on the kind of the worth of the cheating that she did. Most of them will say they're in love with you. They went around with other guys. If you discover who she is, the type of lady that you're going out with, then you can bear it. But to me, if you are cheating in my relationship, like we're together with you and then you're cheating, I think I can't accept a lady like that.
Okay, now what advice do you have for people who cheat?
To me, cheating does not pay. There's nothing in it. It's just like you hurt yourself the more. Because in a relationship, you're supposed to trust your partner. She's supposed to trust you. That's in the contrary. But if you develop that distrust, whoever you meet, whatever the person will do, there will be no trust again. You feel as if that is the same person trying to come back with the kind old lifestyle that you've known them with. You understand?
Faith Essen.
In a relationship, who cheat more, the guys or the lady?
Do you need an angel to tell you that? Everybody knows. Men cheat. Yes. Men cheat more in a relationship.
Why do you think men cheat more?
It's a man thing. When you ask a guy, why do you cheat? They just say, it's a man's word now. I mean, you don't feel a chop up soup every day now. You need to change soup. All those kind, answer. But I think men cheat more. Okay, that's just it.
Okay, what can you classify as cheating?
Cheating is when you cannot manage what God has given you. You now want more. You get, but you're dating a lady. She has what another lady has. Of course, you guys know why people cheat. It's not for the money. Men don't cheat because of the money. Men don't cheat because of of beauty per se. They just cheat for that thing, and it's the same thing that every lady has. So be okay with this one, manage it, groom it, and stop looking for what is not looking for you. You understand?
Okay. Now, why do you think ladies cheat on their side?
And sometimes men drive us crazy. Like, Allah, we dey tire sometimes. You know, you are giving this guy your all, and he's still cheating. Okay, let's see what they enjoy when they cheat. So we want to experiment too. You get that thing that makes you leave your lady to another lady. We too, as ladies, want to know that thing too. So we leave one man and another, and let's start comparing. After all, it's a comparing word. Abi.
Okay. Can you accept a man back after cheating?
Accept him back after he has cheated. And that thing that took him out, let him go and meet that thing. No, that thing that took him away, he should continue from there. When he's tired, he should move to another nest. Me, I'm not taking anybody back. I beg.
What if you people are married and have kids? What do you do?
Sure, we had kids before we went to go and cheat now. Kids or no kids, you should remain with Delilah.
Okay, so what advice do you have for a partner that cheats?
Be okay with what you have. If Eve had managed what God gave to them, she should have not eaten the apple that has cost us what we are having today. I beg. Manage what you have. If you know that you don't like her from the beginning, just move to the one you like. I beg. But for real, guys, cheating is bad. Okay, do you get? Let's make the world a better place. One man, one woman, one man. Love you right back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, so much from Nigerians on the street right there.
Exactly. And as much as everybody's saying it's the guys that cheat and it's the girls that cheat or whatever, and actually I actually had a discussion about this whole thing, and we actually decided to come to an inference that both guys and girls cheat.
Yes,
it's just
guys
that
and
they
girls
cheat in different ways. You know, there's some kind of cheating that is peculiar to guys, and there's the kind that's peculiar
others
to
are
girls.
peculiar to girls. So
Yes.
I don't think we should go about saying guys cheat more or girls cheat more or anything. Although as much as a lot of Nigerians or a lot of ladies would believe cheating is the crux of the DNA of guys, they are polygamous in nature, I think ladies cheat too.
Yeah, and I feel like if a lady is a cheat, it's either she's very good at hiding it or she decides to just throw the guy under the bus.
And I just over the weekend I was actually discussing with someone with regards to this cheating thing, and then the person said for a guy to cheat is not like a big deal. The guys don't see it as anything. It's just they wanted to carry out that adventure, and then they did. But for girls actually need a reason to cheat. And then when you look at it, in most cases, for a lady who has cheated, you'd see that what she used to feel for her partner before, and I'm just saying, what she used to feel for her partner, it's no longer the same. It's more like she has found that reason to cheat, and then she's now, maybe she's now interested in the new partner.
Yeah, the thing is, still, as much as we're saying, you know, guys cheat, because there's actually, in fact, sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes the guy cheats and he's head over heels about the other person.
True.
Sometimes the girl cheats and she's like, I don't ever want to see this guy again. So it's the whole, situation. The thing is, we're human, and human beings will do what they want. There's not going to be an end to cheating anytime soon. People are going to keep cheating and keep apologizing, and some people will take them back and some people will not take them back. I honestly just feel like if you cheat on me, it's over.
Yes, though, because I can't build that trust again.
Exactly. How do we do that? I don't want to have to be a little bit, concerned when I see you with somebody, or when you're on your phone for too long. I don't want to have to be scared or worried or whatever.
Well, I guess on that delightful note, at this juncture, we'd have to draw the curtains here on the program this morning. Your favorite breakfast show, Daybreak Africa, and we do hope to come your way tomorrow bright and early with another interesting package of this show. And then, as you're out there, stay safe. Coronavirus is in Nigeria already.
Yes, and make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Make sure you do all of the right things. Wash your hands as much as you can. Drink as much water. And try to go around with your face mask so you avoid touching your face. And generally, just be healthy. And if you notice somebody around is coughing or whatever, please just take care.
But just before we go, follow us across all of our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. Share, like, comment, and then we'd love feedback from you.
Well, that is the much we have for you on today's episode of Daybreak Africa. It's been an amazing show. I'm Priscilla Ajeshola.
And I'm Aisha Salihu. Have a blessed day ahead.